Administrative resolution repealing administrative resolutions of June 23, 2020 and July 14, 2020 regarding diversity training and development of a Talbot County diversity statement, respectively.
Yeah, I'm the council member who has proposed this legislation. I've actually prepared a statement here I'd like to read aloud to everyone. So here we go. To begin, I'd like to thank everyone for being here tonight, as well as for sharing your thoughts and opinions on this matter over the course of the last few weeks. Filling the room like this is the Constitution at work, exercising your God-given right to freedom of speech and right to petition your government for redress of your grievances, both of which are upheld in the First Amendment to the U.S. Constitution. Over the last few weeks, I've heard from many of you, in person, over the phone, and through letters and emails, many in favor of this repeal and many against. I will say I've learned a lot on this one, but what I've learned was not what I expected at all. Being and reminding everyone again here that this is a matter only affecting Talbot County employees, I expected to hear from many employees, and I did. All of our county employees that I spoke with were kind. They're hardworking and fully supportive of repealing these policies. I heard from a grand total of 0 county employees that requested to keep these DEI policies in place. I've unfortunately learned that many in favor of retaining these DEI-based policies, employee policies, those claiming to be tolerant and diverse and equitable and inclusive, like to spew hateful language when your obligations and ideas do not align with their political ideologies. To the contrary, those in favor of repealing these policies could not have been more polite and respectful. Folks, this is simple. Disagreement does not have to equal disrespect. I've learned that mathematical results speak louder than words when it comes to the effectiveness of having these 2 administrative resolutions in place over the last 5 years. Let's quickly look at one example. Our African American community, which census data shows Talbot County at 12.9% of our total population. In 2020, Talbot County's workforce was 17.5% African American. 5 years after implementing these policies, it is down to 15.8%. Mathematically, having these resolutions in place have been a failure in terms of diversity, equity, and inclusion. Talbot County has always been a great employer, and it will continue to be a great employer, with some of the hardest working individuals you've ever met working to serve you 24/7, 365. The Talbot County Employee Handbook on page 21 memorializes Talbot County as an equal opportunity employer, both in principle and in fact. Our ADA, anti-discrimination, and anti-harassment practices are all covered, and all decisions are based on individual qualifications without regard to race, creed, sex, or national origin. The same 4 matters already afforded every citizen in Talbot County, found in Section 102 of the Talbot County Charter. Folks, the Constitution and its amendments are not political tools. It is not there just for some Americans and not others. It is not there to be a weaponized tool. It is a living, breathing document enshrining the rights and freedoms to all Americans by our Creator, Almighty God Himself. I personally ran a campaign for this role based upon what I call the 5 F's: faith, family, freedom, fiscal responsibility, and fighting for you. This is fiscal responsibility and fighting for you at its core, protecting the millions of dollars, both in operational and capital form, that Talbot County receives from the federal government every year. Politically motivated DEI statements such as the 2 currently affecting our workforce are crumbling all over. In the federal government, with President Trump's executive order on January 20th, in schools and universities, looking at the 2023 Supreme Court ruling in Students for Fair Admissions versus Harvard, and just at the end of last week, the American Bar Association's section of legal education and admissions suspending their DEI requirement, and I quote, over fears of litigation risk and potential violations of the law. I'm guessing that the lawyers who grant the privilege for new lawyers to practice law understand a thing or two about the 14th Amendment, just a hunch. It's time we as Talbot County, the employer, stop letting a politicized DEI product get in the way of true and real unity that is displayed daily in all of Talbot County. The type of unity we all see in Talbot Day, a day that all 5 council members of this council adopted, which glorifies God and celebrates all, and I repeat, all Talbot County citizens. The type of unity that we see in our churches, our schools, our workplaces, and our volunteer organizations. The type of unity that even those with differing opinions should treat other with. And most importantly, the type of unity that Jesus commanded in Matthew 22, verse 39, love your neighbor as yourself. I'll end with the closing paragraph from my open letter on February 11th. Talbot County is a great county. It is known for history, culture, and natural beauty, just to name a few of its wonderful attributes. We are also known for our low taxes and deservingly recognized for our financial stewardship. With the economical and inflationary pressures Talbot County citizens have had to endure in recent years, I want to do my part and ensure Talbot County residents know that their tax dollars are well represented locally and fiercely fought for nationally. Thank you again for everyone being here, and I respectfully ask for a yes vote from my fellow council members on this administrative resolution today.
I do want to thank the 128 citizens who've wrote to us urging us to be wary about repealing a policy statement that does not bind us or restrict us in any fashion, but could send negative signals to a workforce that we are hard-pressed to recruit and retain. Repealing this statement, which contains nothing that could be construed as objectionable, could have a negative impact on those efforts to attract and retain the best and most qualified workforce we can have for this county. And on the fiscal end, the idea that retaining the statement and annual report on training could disqualify the county from federal grants for example, airport modernization or rural development grants for broadband is based on either a misreading or lack of understanding of the recent White House executive order. So county funding is not at risk.
I'm surprised at this administrative resolution. It is based on an executive order that President Trump has presented, but it hasn't gone through a legal process about whether that's even enforceable or permissible. Our statements in our county documents do not have the same requirements that the DEI statutes federal government have. It's just a statement of who we are and what we recognize. I see no reason to withdraw this from our government documents, and I oppose it.
So sitting here as the double minority, I am diversity, I am equity, and I am inclusion as well. Sitting on this Talbot County Council as the double minority, we have to take a pause, and it's okay to say, let's step back, let's take a breather, let's put this on the table till the legal process has played out with this executive order. And so I'm gonna ask my fellow council member who, yes, we have done a great job of unity on this council and coming together and being considerate of each and every individual member here. So I'm going to propose to Councilman Stepp that we pause, that we take a breath, that we gather information regarding how the county may be required to move forward regarding federal funding, and we wait for the legal process to play out. So that is what I'm asking Councilman Stepp to consider with his administrative resolution at this time.
I mean, we have a lot of folks who've come out here. Obviously, this is, you know, being a county employee issue, it's obviously brought up a lot of members of our community, both for or against, right? So if we want to take a look at that, and I would obviously love for everyone to have their stake during public comment, and you know, state their opinions. I mean, that's how this process works. That's what you elected us to do, is to be your voice. Mm-hmm. And you know, like I said, I'd love to hear what everyone has to say during public comment. So if we want to delay this a little bit and push a vote, then we can push it.
I'm asking to
Table it.
table it
Mm-hmm.
and vote now and allow the people that are here that have come out to speak during public comments so that the public comments can be part of
I want them to.
The record.
Yes,
Mm-hmm.
the record.
Mm-hmm. It's fair enough. It's fair enough.
There has to be a motion to table it, correct? Am I correct in that?
At this point, yeah.
By Mr. Stepp.
Mm-hmm.
I think it can come from anybody. I mean, if you want, I'll go ahead and make a motion. We'll table it for the time being so we can make sure we hear everyone's comments, and we'll go from there.
Mm-hmm. Is there a second?
I second that motion to table it.
Okay. Madam Secretary, we've got a motion, a second to go ahead and table this. Can you call the vote?
Mr. Callahan?
Aye.
Mr. Stepp?
Aye.
Mr. Lusher?
Nay.
Ms. Milky?
Nay.
Ms. Hayes?
Aye.
Okay. Okay.